your job suck just a little bit less.
Cushy.
Zolak and Bertrand, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Fox to Wemby. Wemby tries a three, puts it up, off the mark. Anunoby the rebound. It's over. It's over. Knicks fans, this is not a dream. Your long wait has ended. Go ahead and cry. After 53 years, the Knicks are finally NBA champions once again.
The Knicks are the champions of the NBA. Welcome in. It's a Monday here on Zolak and Bertrand. You enjoy that game on Saturday night?
Yeah, I kind of. What Saturday happened, like we're in a pool all day, then we went out to eat, and I'm, holy crap, the NBA Finals is on tonight, Game 6. And I'm like scrambling home to get it. I missed the first part of it, but like, that's a typical Sunday night
Thanks
game.
for the setup. Yeah,
that should be
that.
That should be a Sunday night game.
Okay.
That should have been a Sunday night game.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Weird spot Saturday night. Call like I see it. Weird
Great.
God,
that's the takeaway. That it's a weird spot that they played on a Saturday night.
I only saw half.
I don't think
6-1-7.
I don't believe it was a great
Honestly-
game.
honestly-
I can tell you that
no,
it was not a great game. And for big stretches of that game, I felt like nobody wants to win this effing game. What is going on here? The Knicks, are they slow playing us here? Are they trying to get back to New York to win it at home? The Spurs, are they trying to shut the thing down? They took a lead. They did.
They're 14 in the third. Same script.
It was because New York was shooting so poorly in this game that they took that lead. I mean, look at the point total in this thing. It was painful for stretches. It was a slog in this game.
Worst game
and
of the
then
six.
they get to the
Absolute
fourth
worst game of the
quarter,
six.
and the Knicks said, "The hell with it. Let's win the thing tonight. Let's just get this over with." And the Spurs were more than happy to let that happen. This time you can call it a collapse. You could say it's a major comeback. Call it whatever you want. I'm just telling you, the Spurs did not want to go back to New York. They knew this thing was over. And once the door was open there, just a little bit, they're like, come on in. Come on in and take this
Is that
thing.
the biggest problem you have if you're the coach, if you're the GM? Like,
just reading body language, did you see a single Spurs player that was distraught leaving that floor?
No.
Did you see the tunnel shot of Wemby leaving? It was like, just see you later. Have it. Bye. We're out of here.
It's some for awkward post game too. Just like, okay, yeah, it was a good year. Just stuff like that.
That they dominated for most of the series. Those quotes. I mean,
who's the guy? Was it the Cleveland coach that said, "Oh, we realistic"?
Oh, Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, we should be up 3 games here. Yeah, we played better. We're the better team. No, you're not the better team. You get your ass kicked. I mean, you get your ass kicked in that series.
Victor
Even though you
Wembanyama,
had 2 games won.
With that quote that the Spurs dominated the Knicks in stretches.
He's got to grow up, man.
Is comical.
He's got to grow up.
Yeah, he said, one of the many things I learned was that the margin of error is very, very thin. Our domination stints are absolute. We absolutely dominated for most of the series. But our errors, our mistakes are punished so hard that we can't have ups and downs like this so much.
I'm sorry. You can't, as an NBA player, go to the podium after you get eliminated and say that we dominated. Then we said our margin for error was so slim. Those two things don't go together.
This is like saying we won 3 quarters on Saturday night. Yeah, and you lost the NBA Finals. I think they won 3 quarters.
It's a Gerard Mayo comment. It's a Gerard Mayo comment.
Oh, it's a Joe Mazzulla comment. Quarters.
It is.
Stints. Stretches is what it is.
That was a 1-possession game.
I'll never forget when he told us that. I was like, what? Who cares that you win quarters? They don't gauge the game in quarters. They gauge it in 4 quarters. The final score is the one that matters. Who gives a crap that you won quarters?
It would be Matt Ryan going to the podium being like, I'll tell you what, for 3 quarters of that Super Bowl, we were the better. We dominated that thing, man. Owned it.
I wanted to finish in New York. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad the Knicks won. Now it's time to get the business if you're the Celtics. Like, that's the biggest part of here, the biggest picture of it. But, Jesus, Jalen Brunson. Hey, that guy's a stud.
Yeah.
And I texted you guys right now. Jalen Brunson greater than Jason Tatum.
Yeah, no. Not the case. But sure.
Skipping right past that.
Sure.
What's that?
I tell me which GM in the league right now building their roster would take him over Jason Tatum to start building their team.
I understand. I completely understand. But you watch them play, and there's something that you wish your team had that they don't.
Well, I do think you have to look in the mirror and say, wait, this Knicks team was built to beat the Celtics, and they did it 2 years ago, and now they just won the championship. So is it time to pivot? Because the team we're running up against in the Eastern Conference right now is better than us.
See,
Have they exposed the Celtics?
Yeah. And I said last week, I don't think the Giannis trade will happen. And after you see them get eliminated, you understand where you're at versus them. You said it last week. Giannis might get traded here next week. This might be the week. And it's probably going to happen because of that, the way that ended. The Knicks are damn good.
I don't think that's why he's getting traded here. I think they recognized it before that. I think they've been working on this Giannis trade for weeks.
No, but this solidifies it. Like, this is why we have to do it.
I don't think you needed the NBA Finals to know you had a problem. And to know that you needed to better compete with some of these teams and the way they were built. We were talking about this a month ago when the Western Conference Finals began.
Yeah.
This wasn't about just who won this. This was about how are you going to get out of the Eastern Conference. Forget winning it all. And they're not. They're not built to beat the Knicks. They're not. They're not built to beat the Spurs. So they are going to pivot, and they are going to make a trade this week. That is my opinion, obviously, but there's some reporting to back that up. A lot is being made of the fact that the Knicks win it, and there is parity in the NBA because for the 8th year in a row, it is a different NBA champion. Going back to 2018 when it was Golden State, it was Golden State, then it was Toronto, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors again, 1-22. So it actually starts in 19 then, doesn't it? Nuggets, Celtics, Thunder, Knicks. So yeah, starting in 2019, Raptors, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors, Nuggets, Celtics, Thunder, and Knicks. Look at that list and tell me, of those last 8, which teams are still in contention?
Put it back up.
Which teams are still in the mix?
So I would say the Thunder.
Yep.
And, I mean...
Obviously, the Knicks are.
The
They
Knicks.
won.
And I don't think the Nuggets are there right now, the way that they're
Still have
built.
to put Denver in.
Are the Celtics there from 2024, just now 2 years removed from their title?
Not if you run it
Are
back.
they in it?
Not if you run it back with the way that they're built.
Agreed. And when they look at that list, do they learn anything from the mistakes of any of these other teams and how it fell apart for them or hasn't stayed? They haven't stayed. And I don't even count 2020 at fake-ass championship for the Lakers. Bogus COVID championship. Does not count.
No, I think it's a real conversation, right? Because the
Yeah.
Nuggets, Celtics, and all those teams that leading up to it, and you go down that list of champions, and obviously Kawhi walked out the door for Toronto, but the window that you thought you had for multiple championships and extend and run is not as long as what you think it's going to be.
Bingo. All of these teams, when they won, thought that they were in line to have a run. And none of them have. They haven't had the run.
We could sit here and we could talk about players and adding players.
And I would
Changing it up and shaking it up.
I would ask this question, too, as it relates to those other teams, including the Celtics. Which team is going to look back, if you want to say maybe from like 23 on? Nuggets, Celtics, Thunder, and Knicks. Well, really, 3 teams. Nuggets, Celtics, and Thunder. Which of them has missed out the most on their window? Which team has maximized their window the least out of those champions? Which team do you look at and say, how do they only win one? Is it the Celtics? Is it the Nuggets? Could it be the Thunder after they were still in it this time around?
I'd say Thunder and Bucks. Because of Giannis when he was the MVP and they were good, and added there, you thought that team was a badass team, and they're going to go on runs, and they're going to win multiple. I thought he would have been a multi-champion. So you can look at.
I don't know how you have Jokic and now you haven't won in 3 years and not think you are missing your window in a huge way.
Yeah. Agreed on that. You had the best player in the NBA for multiple years, and you fell short.
Here's your problem, too. Okay, so you look at all these teams, you could talk about switching players and shaking it up and giving yourself your own enema. Do you look at yourself analytically and do you look at your offense? Do you go into this saying, we're just going to add Giannis and we're going to do the same damn thing we do? We're going to run our same offense.
No, you can't.
No.
And he'll force you to change it.
Good. Because you need to do something offensively that's different. And that's getting him. Period. If they run it back with Brown and just add a regular big, it's the same old thing all over again. And you could potentially be a second-round knockout. You'll be a playoff team. You'll get to the playoffs. You might win a series. Then you're going to get knocked out. I just wanted to change their style. Stylistically, they're just, at times, they're a tough watch. Like when we were talking about them with the national people, what they were saying, they're a boring team to watch. Because it's 5 out and shoot. And run. And play no defense. And set no picks. And have no offensive flow. They don't have flow. You asked a question the other day, do they need a true point guard? And who's a true point guard? Like, I think you might need more than Giannis. So you get rid of Brown, get Giannis, and you gotta get a guy that can penetrate, move, and that. You look at Brunson and the way he just goes to the hole. He can score from any spot on the field or on a court. He scores from anywhere on a court. You don't have the guy who can do that. Even Tatum. Tatum struggles at time when he goes inside. He's comfortable outside the arc. He's comfortable just shooting. I don't think he likes to go to the hole that much. I liked when he came back from the Achilles that he looked a little bit like a different player, like he went to the hole. And maybe he was trying to get easier buckets. I don't know. But I thought when he came back from that Achilles, I thought he looked really, really good.
Giannis to the Celtics, the latest on that. Bill Simmons with a lot more to say over the weekend. We will get into that, and your calls on the way next.
No matter where.
Smoking meats in the Fenway.
No matter when.
Here we go, ad-lib time.
That's awesome.
Zolak and Bertrand, the Sports Hub.
It's a good problem to have more than one person who can score from you. You don't want to be overly dependent. But you look at the Knicks and we talk about their roster construction. They're a team that has a bunch of guys who can do a bunch of different things and knows their roles. And then you've got one alpha scorer, and that's it. And that's how they're constructed. And you had a coach who, you got the most out of those guys and, made the adjustments when it mattered.
Yeah, and I think you've mentioned many times them getting the supporting cast and the guys to minimize their weaknesses, and that was important in the many cases where they did across the board on that roster that won it all. But I also think those two got much better at those things, Tatum, Brown, at the passing, at the setting the table offensively. Is it still the best way for them to progress forward? We can debate that, but I think when they reach their height,
they're better, Bobby. They're better, Bobby. But again, when Tatum leans into it, he can be among the better playmaking forwards in the league, if not the best. But like I said, he has to fully embrace that LeBron role. That comes down to, what am I? I'm the facilitator. That's what I do first.
It's John Zanis, CLNS Media.
How many years have you been doing this? 15, 16?
Yeah.
How many times do interns come in during the break just to talk to us and chat and come up with ideas for us?
Not frequently enough.
My mind is kind of blown. Mia came in and chatted for like 6 minutes. Barely just made it out of here before the break ended. She thinks we should just disrupt the show and do an emergency this or that. But no, we're not going to do that. We might do it later. And she has no clue where Ole Miss is, which is amazing. Intriguing group of interns at the station this summer. That's all. I'm not going to bang my bottle.
Don't bang the bottle. this segment. Talking about the Knicks, how they're built. If there's a lesson there for the Celtics.
Yeah, go get Brunson.
I think there is a lesson there for the Celtics. But Brunson without Cat isn't the same. Brunson without Anunoby is not the same. No. They did not just win a title because they have Jalen Brunson.
I agree. That's going to be the fun part of this when the Celtics trade. When the Celtics trade guys and change. Because Jason Tatum's not the same guy without Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's not the same guy without Jason Tatum. I want to see how these guys code. I want to see how they exist in different spots where they're the guy with different players. That's part of the big risk of this trade, isn't it? Like, you have no clue how this is going to go.
I actually don't think that there's a massive risk in this deal. I know a lot of people feel that there is.
I mean,
and I think,
feel like the A.J. Brown. A lot of people say the A.J. Brown one, there's going to be health issues and he's going to wear down. I hear a lot of people that talk about the Celtics, that love the Celtics, don't want to get rid of Brown because he has longer upside. And he's really in his prime. And he could be here for 4 or 5 years where, boy, what if it doesn't work out with Giannis and he's often hurt and it just doesn't work out and they move on from him? Like, they've tried it with Gordon Hayward. They tried it with Kyrie. And there was no guarantees those were going to work, but the excitement was through the roof. You get Giannis here, the excitement's going to be through the roof. But the people that make those decisions have to have a little bit of angst.
Yeah, I would just tell you that this player in Giannis has only missed significant time in one season.
We've been through it.
One season.
Do you know that if you take out this past year, which obviously he got in a fight with Milwaukee about playing with?
Yeah.
The previous 5 years, he played in more games than Jaylen Brown did?
We've said this before. People refuse to believe it.
2 weeks ago, we said it.
He plays and has played more than Jaylen Brown. And there's this idea that, it's only going to be for, a year or two because Giannis is so old.
I hear that all the time.
Like, Jaylen Brown's about to turn 30 in October. Do you understand that Jaylen Brown's also going into his 30s?
Yes.
And right now, Giannis is 31, and he'll turn 32. So, yeah, there's almost 2 years. He's almost 2 years older. Almost. Not quite 2 years older, but almost 2 years older than Jaylen Brown. So what the hell are you talking about? This was it. This was the one season that he missed significant time. And he was fighting with his team about playing. He wanted to play. They did not want him to play.
Right.
They were tanking for draft position, and they sidelined him. So get out of here with that. I'm not hearing it. I'm not having it. It's a lie. It's a lie that Giannis is hurt all the time. Yeah. It's a freaking lie. It's not true. Not to mention, Jaylen Brown has had issues with his knee. Jaylen Brown has medicals himself that you've got to be worried about a guy going into his 30s. Everyone seems to forget that.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I've heard over the last couple of weeks about how he can't post during the postseason and he's missed time, which is fair, he has.
Yeah.
But let's go back to that Knicks series when we're talking about Jaylen Brown and the knee issue and him not being 100% 2 years ago because he was dealing with that knee issue during the postseason. So he's running into things in the playoffs as well. I'm 100% with you. When you talk about the injury stuff, I just think that that's so overblown with Giannis right now.
I do too. I think it's overblown. And if it's crept into the conversations about his trade value, I think that's a good thing for the Celtics. If there is this idea that he's getting older and breaking down, it'll be good for the Celtics. So I don't think there's a massive risk in this deal the way it's been presented. I do think there's a massive risk in just rolling it back and expecting different results. That, to me, is a trap that you hate to see a team get stuck in. And I'm glad that on the surface right now, it appears they want to do something to significantly reshape this roster and how this team is built. And that, to me, is a team that realizes its flaws, understands that the dynamic in their conference has shifted and the league has shifted, and they need to look different when they hit the floor this coming fall. Here's Bill Simmons, what he has to say about the latest. Simmons has pivoted. 2.5 weeks ago, he was saying, I don't think it's a deal. A week ago, he's saying, they're in and they're playing possum. They very much want Giannis. And now he's got this.
Beginning of the offseason. I think they dove in. From what I heard, they made an offer in the past week, a couple of days before I mentioned on Thursday. Okay. I don't know what the offer was and I don't know who's in it. But they are in. Hat was in the ring, which I was really surprised by, as I said on Thursday, because I thought they were sitting it out. And I don't know, do you think something changed? Do you think they looked at this from every angle or that they realized, that's it for the Miami offer? We can beat that? Like, what would have changed their mindset? Because I do not think they were in on Giannis at the beginning of the offseason.
Now he does. Now he thinks they're very much in, and he believes, or he's reporting, I guess you could say, that they made an offer. They made an offer last week, which means it's on. And there's plenty of other reporting that we will work our way through that supports that they are in on this player. Can't keep it quiet forever.
No, I think the third team is the huge issue here, right? Because I do think that for a long time we've seen that Boston does kind of work in the shadows, but when you're talking about a bigger deal, it's going to get out. It's a lot harder to keep a deal quiet when you're talking about a third team having to come in to spin Jaylen Brown off to. And I think that's what the Celtics are running into right now, is that when a deal gets this big and it's this size, you're not going to be able to work in the shadows like you have with some of these smaller deals under Brad Stevens in the past.
Which honestly is not a big deal. I know that there's, this desire for secrecy, but I don't think it's a big deal that it's not a secret anymore.
Well, I think it's not, because if you have made the decision that you are in on, then fine, you're going to have the best deal with Jaylen Brown in the package.
Correct.
If you weren't convinced that was, then I think you're a lot more nervous about the alternatives here, because if it does go south and you can't land it, him being on your roster next year after finding this out would be an issue, I think.
It might be, but let me ask you this. Do you think Jaylen Brown right now feels like his team really wants him?
No.
So what the hell does it matter? Right? I mean, he already feels this way.
Yeah.
He probably feels that way. And if you feel that way, even if they're really shopping you or not, your feelings are going to matter, because he does not feel like his team is all in on him. And they're not. That's the truth. They're not all in on him. And so I think it might be a problem either way. If they went into the offseason saying, no, we're not trading Jaylen Brown, how would he be feeling? Would he still be feeling like his team is all in on him? Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
So I think that's an issue either way. But it turns out they are trying to move him, and they have the most valuable piece. And we've heard rumors that maybe it's Houston that might get in for Jaylen Brown and be interested in making a move. There will be a suitor. There will be. There will be.
Where do you want him to go for the back and forth? Add some juice to the games when we play him.
Where he lands?
Which team?
Don't care.
Okay. Milwaukee or Miami?
He's not going to wind up in Miami.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying what I would want. I think that would be fun. Him and Spo versus Joe and Tatum.
I would hold no ill will toward him, so I don't feel like it would be fun to beat Jaylen Brown if he's playing for another team. Like I wouldn't take any joy in oh yay, they're beating Brown.
I'd love to see those two go at it.
I do wonder if they've been pushed into this because of behind-the-scenes stuff with Jaylen Brown. Now, like Zach Lowe in the podcast mentions, maybe some of the postseason comments from Jaylen ruffled some feathers in Boston, and maybe that's true. But does he also said, hey, I kind of want to move on and want my own team? Like, are they getting that feeling? And that's also kind of led to where we're at right now, too?
He doesn't feel wanted here, and they don't feel like he wants to be here. Is that a two-way street? We'll get to your calls on it coming up. Also, Mark Stein and what he's hearing about Giannis and the potential for him to be moved. I feel like this is, when it does happen, it's going to happen quickly here. So this has started. This could happen by the end of the week. Giannis could be here by the end of the week. 617-779-0985. Here are the headlines with Tim McCone.
So,
Why do you think people listen to
Beetle,
He's got a big...
Zolak and Bertrand, the Sports Hub.
It has gotten louder and louder and louder. And really, since the end of May, this has been out there. And my old friend Bill Simmons beat me to it. I wrote about this in May that my weekend column, whatever day it was, Saturday or Sunday, I was going to write the two teams that keep coming up with Giannis are Miami and Boston. And Bill said it on his podcast, like on a Thursday, a couple days before my weekend column. So, Bill was the first one to talk about Boston as a place that interests Giannis. And based on everything I've heard for the last 2-3 weeks, I think that was dead on.
Mark Stein is hearing a lot of the same things that Bill Simmons is hearing about the Celtics' involvement in the pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis to Boston could be a thing soon. Let's grab your calls. Jason's in Worcester. Hi, Jason.
Hey, guys. Good morning to everybody. Great start this morning on just all the updates with all of this. There's so much to talk about with Jaylen and Giannis coming in, and would Giannis be a fit, and Giannis being a ball dominant guy who's kind of an unnatural, classically unnatural from a physical standpoint. He should be playing off the ball. Zoe, I just wanted to address something that you said earlier with regarding the Celtics not having a player like Brunson. They do. Yes. They do have a player like Brunson. They have Peyton Pritchard. The problem is that Mazzulla, he is. If you look at his stats, man, they are very similar players. And Pritchard actually shoots a better percentage from deep.
I would watch a game.
And he shoots a better percentage both close to the basket and away from the basket. Let me finish, man.
Oh, go ahead.
The problem is the style the Celtics play. They don't use that player Pritchard in the same way that the Knicks use Brunson. That player for the Celtics, obviously, you guys know, is Jason Tatum. So the question I think is if they bring in Giannis, now they're going to have two big guys who like to be ball dominant. What do? How are they going to switch the offense around? It's going to be really interesting to see. I think Giannis is a better fit than Jaylen. As a complement to Jason Tatum, they're just going to have to, I think, as an off-the-ball dominant player, I think he's going to be a better fit than Jaylen. And I love Jaylen.
Okay.
But
I like Pritchard. I think he and Brunson aren't anything alike.
I just don't think that Pritchard can create to the same degree that Brunson can.
I don't know if I agree with you guys on that. I respect your opinion, but if you really
shoot, it's like
that deserves a closer look. I think.
See, I think the problem with Pritchard This was so keyed in Tatum and Brown that, yeah, Pritchard's a nice little factor. And he'll come in, he'll have his 30-game points, 36. I'm like, Jesus, how do you get to that? Because we're so fixated on the other two. I watch the Knicks, who're just fixated on Brunson. And he does it. Now, does he have good people around him? Yes. Yes. He has good veterans around him. But, it all runs through him, and it starts with him.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and say Pritchard does that. And I don't care about the stats. It's like, what do you watch the game and who impacts the game? It's Brunson. And he's clutch. And he's tough. And he never quits. Pritchard's tough. He never quits. He's not the same player as Brunson, that's all.
He's ridiculously clutch, which I think is his best quality.
Yep.
It's insane. He averaged like 11 points in the fourth quarter.
Because he'll miss a ton of shots. We talked about this last week. But, like, who wants a ball in their hand at the end of the game? Number 11. That guy. Who on your team right now wants a ball at the end of the game?
Look, he brings that Brady thing too, man, because there's a belief on that team that we're going to win this game. They're down 14 again to the Spurs in the second half in that game 5, and you had no doubt in the fourth quarter that New York was going to come back and win that game. And I don't know how you quantify that, but he certainly brings that to the table with New York.
He didn't hit the game-winning shot, but he hit the most important shots that mattered to cut that lead under 10, down to 5, down to 2, and even 1. And yeah, he didn't hit the game winner.
I just think he's so savvy.
Yeah.
And I don't think Peyton Pritchard is on his level or in the department.
He's a good player. He works hard. I get it all, but he ain't.
The stop-start, the foul baiting, all the stuff that he has.
The foul baiting on those threes was insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous.
Yep.
Like I
comes off a screen and
God,
just stops.
Idiots,
yep.
You morons. The Spurs fouled him every time. It was automatic for him.
This is day one of where the cuckoos come out. The Celtics fans. The green teamers. You're calling in trying to say Pritchard's better than Jalen Brunson.
Noah's in Pepperell. Hey, Noah.
Yeah, good morning, fellas.
Hi.
Peyton Pritchard, I love him just as much as the next guy, but he's not Jalen Brunson. Listen, Game 5 was what it was, but that series was win or loss depending on how you look at it in Game 4. And when I was watching it, I was like, if I just closed my eyes and squinted hard, this looks exactly as how the Celtics would have lost this series against the Knicks, too. Chucking up threes and blowing a 30-point lead. And I don't think that the Knicks winning it necessarily forces that Celtics hand, but the way that they did it, I think makes this an unavoidable situation that Brad Stevens has to address in the offseason. And from all signs, it looks like he's going to. So let's go Giannis, baby.
Okay, let's go Giannis. Chris in Hartford, you excited for Giannis?
No, I don't want Giannis. Okay, so I called you guys about a week and a half or so ago, and all three of you had the same answer. Okay, and you said that because I wanted to trade Jaylen Brown in 2023 for a cat. Okay, so all three of you said that if Towns and Tatum, and I asked you how many championships will we have by now, all three of you guys said none. So let me say this to you, okay? And we all agree in 2024 it was an easy.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Oh.
Put him on hold. We'll put him on hold. Maybe he comes back. See what happens there. What was his premise? Trade Cat for Jaylen Brown?
Yes, if you had traded Jaylen Brown for Karl Anthony Towns, how many championships would Tatum and Towns have?
And we all said none.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to change my mind on that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Not a big fan.
Matt's in the car. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Beetle, good morning. So it's not so much that I don't want Giannis, right? And I think the Knicks proved this, that they have two superstars that are not making the supermax money, so they have money to fill the depth on their bench. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the only team that ever had two supermax players was Kawhi and Paul George in L.A., and that didn't work out. The problem with the Celtics is not the top two superstars. It's 6, 7, 8, 9 in the rest of their depth. So I'll take your call off there. Thank you.
Okay, so you're saying having two supermax players in this day and age is not how you do it anymore.
Yeah, look at the guys they rolled off the bench, right? And don't get Landry Shamet. None of these guys are great, right? But would you rather have a Deuce McBride, a Jordan Clarkson, or a Baylor Shireman with a haircut that looks like he's a Yeti?
I understand his point.
It's not so much the bench for the Knicks though, but it's Towns, Anunoby, Brunson, Bridges, Hart all make good money, but
Right.
you're not like you said, you're not wrapped up in two supermax deals, $70 million players.
If you want to have two supermax players, should Jaylen Brown be one of your two supermax guys?
Yes.
Sticking with it.
Yes. You're saying here or elsewhere?
Anywhere.
Just in general.
Anywhere.
I took it as anywhere.
No,
Yes,
anywhere.
I feel he's good. I think
Like,
he's-
if
he's
you're a
top 10
team...
he's a top 10 player.
But you
Yes.
understand... Okay, but you understand... You think he's a top 10 player
I
in
think
the
he's a
NBA.
top 10 player.
All right. So then you would be in on that. I don't believe he is.
Okay.
And so under the new rules, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? If we're going to be a team that builds around two players and then suffer for it, 3, 4, 5 in our bench, is he the guy you want to do it for?
Right. Or is it?
And if he's too similar to what you already have in your best player, do you want to do that for any team?
No.
So I think the answer is no for the Celtics. And I think that's why they're willing to trade him and still take on a Supermax player, but it's got to be something entirely different from what it is they have.
Right, an MVP, a guy that's won the MVP twice.
Yes.
Because otherwise, I agree with you. I think the pivot then is to trade for a bunch of players that are like Derek White caliber, right? Making good money, but are a step below what we're talking about with the Supermax.
I think Derek White's salary is going to become a problem for this team. If we're being honest.
That's a real conversation. I mean, if you're going to have two Supermax guys, yes.
In terms of dollars spent on him and resources spent on Derek White, is it worth it to have Derek White, or is it worth it to move on from Derek White and start spreading the money out a little bit more down the roster? Those are questions that they are going to be faced with. That's what they're going to be thinking about. And I just think if this is the start, it's certainly not the end for the Celtics this offseason. It's the start, and it's a full-blown roster reconstruction, and no one is safe except for Jason Tatum. He's the only safe player in the mix. He's the guy who will survive no matter what. 617-779-0985. Brian Windhorst in on the conversation. What he's hearing on Giannis to Boston. We'll play that coming up next.
Zolak.
I got a pillow over my head.
Bertrand.
Doesn't make it normal.
The Sports Hub.
Yes, the league believes that this is finally going to happen. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that he still could commit to re-signing with the Bucks, but talks have intensified over the last 7 to 10 days. Look, he has focused on wanting to be a member of the Miami Heat, and because he's only got 1 year on his contract, he has some control over that. But the Heat and the Bucks have been talking for months, Greeny, and not agreed to a deal because the Bucks don't love the Heat's offer. There are third teams involved. There are fourth teams involved. In recent days, we have seen that the Boston Celtics have shown some interest there. But a Celtics offer has a stumbling block. Number one, you'd be breaking up potentially Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown. Number two, it would mean changing the entire structure of the way the Celtics play basketball. So stay tuned. We'll be more on that as the week unfolds.
He sounds out of breath. He's so exasperated talking about this. He's racing to talk about it. Brian Windhorst. He's got a lot there. Were they counting him down? Like was his
like Louth after the Hunter Henry?
Was his hit about to end?
10 seconds,
Can
Brian.
we play that again? He's talking so fast there. What was the setup for this?
In recent days, we have seen that the Boston Celtics have shown some interest there.
Yeah.
But a Celtics offer has a stumbling block. Number one, you'd be breaking up potentially Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown. Number two,
it's not Brunson,
it
it's
would
Tatum.
mean changing the entire structure of the way the Celtics play basketball. So stay tuned. We'll be more on that as the week unfolds.
More on that coming up.
That's like Lousy and John Hannah on a Bourbon Street.
That was in like the box where he's just looking straight at the camera there. That's one of those ESPN Sports Center reports there. But he will tell you, I think, the valuable piece of information there. Two big things. He said, number one, they get Giannis. That changes how this team plays basketball, which is absolutely true. And so those of you who hate the way the Celtics play will like that. You should like that. You should love it, in fact, because this player will force you to change the way you play, and that's a good thing. I think it'll give them some balance. They'll still be able to shoot 1,000,000 threes, okay? That's not going to go away, but it will give them options. And so that's a great thing for them. The other part is there's a stumbling block. and that is moving Jaylen Brown in this deal, which is going to be a real shot to the ego of some of these Jaylen Brown fanboys. So when
I'll be rooting for him.
I mean, when it's hard to move the player,
I can't wait to watch him play this.
When it's hard to move the player, shouldn't that tell you something?
Yeah, the player makes a lot of money.
He doesn't make that much money when you compare him to what other top 10 players, as you call them, will be signing for.
Yeah.
And so why, if he's that good, why is it hard to move him? You'll have to answer that question for us. So, why is it hard to move him?
Any way they could get him to the Knicks?
Yeah, why would the Knicks do this deal right now? Why would they break that up? They just won the championship.
I know that, but say, hey, if you're the Knicks and we want to keep it going, let's go get Jaylen Brown too. He's available.
I don't think they're touching that roster.
I love that. I would love that. I'm a Knicks fan.
I do think it's more evidence that this Boston thing is happening based on what he said there too. That Miami has been talking about this for months, and there's no package there. What is Miami offering up right now that would entice Milwaukee to send him to Miami? They have the 13th pick and a bunch of garbage. They don't want to trade Bam Adebayo, so I don't know how they're going to wind up landing Giannis. I think, again, it points to Boston being in the driver's seat for this player.
They're going to win. They're going to win. They want this. They'll get it done. They also have the best chip. They're going to get this done. They will figure it out. The problem is figuring out, do we send Brown to Milwaukee? Do we trade Brown elsewhere? How does that work? How do we get that to work in the 3-team deal that we're going to end up doing here? Matching salaries and everything that goes with that. And I never like to get into that because I get lost very quickly. Yes. When we start talking about the trade machine, no, I'm good. I don't need that. Just tell me when it's done.
The trade exceptions.
Yeah, I can't. I don't enjoy it. If there's one salary cap and CBA, I really don't enjoy. It would be the NBA's. I don't want to follow that thing. NFL, I'll get into it. MLB, all right, I'll do it. Love the NHL one. That thing is so straightforward. Oh, beautiful. Well, that NHL one. That's an easy one to understand. NBA, no, I'm not doing that. You do that. I'm not doing it. Just tell me when the thing is done and how they get it done. But talking about, you mentioned the Knicks, if they were to shake it up. Teams that win the championship, as we've mentioned, there's a lot of parity right now. You get 8 straight different winners. Since that season in 19, that was the Raptors, only one NBA champion has even made it back to the finals, and only one reached the conference championship game, and this is all in the next year, and that was the Thunder this year. One defending champion was eliminated in the first round, and 5 were eliminated in the second round. There's a track record now of NBA champions not having a great follow-up year. And if the Knicks are going to do exactly what you just described, Tim McComb, which is they're not going to touch a thing, which is what most championship teams do. It's what the Celtics did after their title. How did that go for them?
Not well.
How is it going to go for the Knicks next year?
Look, I mean...
Probably not well, which would speak to Zoe's point. Win a title, shake it up. You want to break up this parity? You got to keep being aggressive.
I know there's people in the NBA that do believe that you have to shake it up coming off a championship. That think you can't just run it back with the same group and think that you're going to wind up with the same success, that you do have to kind of change that mix in the locker room a little bit, create that sense of urgency.
There were murmurs with the Celtics after they won because they were so old, and just the shape Porzingis was in, taped together to get through some games and try to give you a little bit in the playoffs, that we don't want to run it back. We want to add. We want to get better. And he didn't. And I think that's kind of why, you take a step back there. Now you got guys that really aren't as good as when they first got here. Guys like Derek White. I thought Pritchard made a nice jump. But you're going to continue to match your bench with the type of bench that the Knicks have? If you're the Knicks, I'd add. You're there now. You had a shot at it last year.
You think the Knicks are going to repeat as champions next year?
No, I think the hardest thing to do in sports is repeat. They shouldn't.
I'm with you. I don't think there's any shot they do. So
I think there's a shot. I've discounted them too many times. I just thought they were a joke. They're not a joke. A team plays hard. And that's with a new coach. Their coach was hired in July, I think. July.
It would take some balls to break up the Nova Knicks or move off of OG Anunoby, who was a hero of the finals, or Towns. It would be a ballsy move to do that. I don't see him doing it, but maybe you're right. Maybe that argument is there.
Let's grab headlines. We'll be right back in 90 seconds here on Zolak and Bertrand.